What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Friday. Hope everyone is well. Apologies with the change of time today. I've had a crazy Friday. Obviously, did Forever Arsenal this morning and some other stuff, but we are here live at 5 or just after 5, but we are here and we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, last night's game, as well as Bukayo Saka signing a new 5-year contract. So 5 o'clock, Bukayo Saka, 5-year deal. You know what I'm saying. And we're going to delve into it. And I suppose the question that I'm asking, without people taking offense to this question, is Saka worth the contract that he has just signed? The rumours are that it's £300,000 a week. I don't know whether that's the basic or including wages, but they're saying £500,000 a week. 500? Geez, 5 o'clock, 5-year deal. £300,000 a week, sorry. £300,000 a week. Is Saka worth 300 grand a week on a 5-year deal? Is basically the question I'm asking. I knew that Listen, we're not in a position to let him go. Of course we're not. But should he have got a different kind of contract? We said it earlier in the week, and KU that he said as well. Yeah, listen, we knew, and I even said it, the moment something bad happens, they will announce a new contract. And they obviously feel like one or two things weren't good last night. You know, Martinelli, what he did to Connor Bradley, and we drew the game. People said Arteta was too defensive. Announce the Saka deal. Quick, we'll get it out the drawer. We'll announce it now. Let's distract everyone. But yeah, it is what I suppose on the face of things, people, it is good news. Whether we think Saka's at that same level or not, he's certainly a player that you want to be keeping hold of, you know? So very interesting, but yeah, I'm not surprised that the deal has been announced today. I thought it would have been announced around Christmas, and I'm surprised there's not new merch. Like, I'm really surprised there's not new merch to celebrate and get us all buying new merch. But it is what it is. We'll talk about a few things as the game continues. Sorry, I was just reading that then about it saying that Martinelli will not receive any retrospective action from the Premier League, which, yeah. I didn't think he would, to be honest, but we'll talk about it in more detail. Big up to everyone locked in. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. It's Friday, people. Enjoy your Friday. Arsenal play on Sunday, 2 p.m. kickoff. Portsmouth FA Cup. Wednesday evening kickoff. Chelsea first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final, and then Nottingham Forest next weekend. So it's a big week. It's a big week for Arsenal, man. A lot. I wouldn't say it's crunch time, but it just feels like that part of the season where you've got to get your results right. Yeah, I decided not to call it Arsenal therapy today. You know, why did I not call it Arsenal therapy? I just don't feel like we played well. You know, I don't feel like we played well. And on the face of it, if you don't play well and you draw against a good team, it's not necessarily therapy. It was more disappointing. And you know what? We're going to go into more detail, but I'm not completely surprised with what we saw yesterday from Arsenal. As good as this Arsenal team is, I think there's still a problem with our attack and at times our midfield. I think if you look at this Arsenal team at the moment and you say, okay, where is the title winning part of this team? Our goalkeeper is playing at a title level, and our back four are playing at a title level. I think our midfield still has question marks over it, to be honest. Declan Rice is the only one for me out of that three where I go, okay, you could have him for the next 4 years, no problem. I still think that I still have massive doubts about Martin Odegaard. In fact, I'd probably replace him now, whether that's Eze or you go and sign a Morgan Rogers. Zubimendi, I think he's good, but I'm still not totally sure that's an upgrade on Thomas Partey. Certainly not physically. And then the front three, I'm sorry, but our front three is just not good enough. Now, whether that's the fault of the system or the manager, but I don't think our attack is very scary to play against. If to me, and without sounding disrespectful, if Leandro Trossard is your best attacking player, your attack is not very good. I'm going to keep it 100, people. If Leandro Trossard is your best attacking player of the season, your attack is not very good. Let's be real. Saka and Gyokeres are supposed to be the main two players in this attack, and they are not performing. And I'll be honest, people. I'm going to be honest. We're going to talk about it in more detail, but I'm ringing the alarm bell with Victor Gyokeres. You know, like when you're on, like, you're in a building or you can crack the glass and the alarm goes off. I've got that little hammer in my hand. I'm about to pop the glass. I'll be real. Yeah, Arteta's system doesn't help him. Yes, we probably don't create enough chances for him. But I'll be real, I'm struggling to defend what I'm seeing. And it's not just because he's not scoring. Because not scoring is one thing, not playing well is another thing. If we're being totally honest now, no matter what you think about Gyokeres, whether you think he's good but the manager's not doing it, whether it's the system, whatever, he does not work in this team. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. You know, I've given up. I got to the point I'm celebrating him winning a corner. I mean, what are we doing it? I had higher standards for Eddie Nketiah, and I never rated Eddie. So I've got to be honest. Berta's going to have to sign another striker in the summer. I'm going to be totally honest. He's got to go again. I'm not writing Gyokeres off. You're not going to sell him. He's on a 5-year deal. But the circumstances are not working. Did the manager want him? Probably not. He wanted Sesko, younger player that he could mould, put crosses in. It's a 27-year-old who seems to know how to play one way. We can't get the best out of him. Havertz will be our striker when he's fit. That's the reality of the situation. So it's disappointing. Disappointing. Do I think he'd score goals in a different system, a different team? I do. But I still think we need a striker. I'd sell Jesus. I'd sell Havertz. I'd bench Gyokeres and I'd go and buy somebody else. But I don't think it's going to happen, by the way, because I don't think Arteta will sell Havertz and Jesus. I think Havertz will stay. Maybe Jesus will go. So, yeah. Right. Big up to everyone locked in. Appreciate your support as always. Lawrence said, yeah. Lawrence was like, yeah, you're finally coming to your senses. Jake said, much love, Big C and everyone. Member for 17 months. Big up to you, Jake. Mr. Holiday, we don't have to think about this too much. Is 300k going to keep you from keeping Saka? The answer is no for any serious person. Unfortunately, what Arsenal have had to do over the years is use money as an incentive to keep players at the club and sign new players. When you're winning major trophies, the pull is the club and the thought of being successful there. That will convince you to come to the club. We haven't been winning trophies. So what we've done over the years is we've overpaid players to sign for us. We've overpaid players to stay at the club. I said a long time ago, when you give Havertz 275, when Saka wants a new deal, it's going to be 300 grand a week because he's done a lot more than Havertz. His agent's going to use that as a starting point. So this is the situation we're in now. 300 grand a week is what Saka's going to have to get because the Havertz deal. You know, you can't justify Havertz getting more than Saka at Arsenal. So it's the reality of the situation. We backed ourselves into a corner. I think it's positive that he got the new deal. I just hope we can get Saka back to the level that he was at maybe before the hamstring injuries. Big C, I'm not sure with this team has the mentality to win the title, says Jersey Mott. I think we'll only find out when it comes to the crunch time, but that's the thing that sort of scares us all. Have they got that mentality to get over the line? Big up Lawrence. Realistically, it's Edu's fault. I think it's a combination of Edu and Arteta, but ultimately, yeah, Edu was the one throwing these contracts at the players. So, yeah, he's got to... And look at the state of Nottingham Forest since he's gone there. See, you taking a loss on Bitcoin? I think I am, people. I think I am. Listen, I hold my hands up to the community. You know me, man. You can't be wrong and strong. I heard that growing up when I was younger, and it's very true. You can't be wrong and strong. When you're wrong, you've got to hold your hands up. I'll be real. This is me being honest. And you've heard me say this before, but I'm reiterating it here today. So you know that I will take responsibility. I did not fully know how good or bad this player was. Let's be totally honest. I hadn't even watched 10 games of this guy over the course of 90 minutes. Probably watched him play 2 or 3 times in the Champions League, the Man City game, the Arsenal game. I remember watching another game. I think they played Leipzig and him and Sesko both played. So I watched that. And I watched a couple of Portuguese league. I've probably watched him play 5 times over 90 minutes. I saw the goal record. I saw the YouTube videos. I saw the celebration. I was sold. I was caught up in the hype. I saw the bright lights and I was ready for it, people. I'll be totally honest. And you know what? And I said this yesterday, people. I honestly still thought he was going to do well because I looked at the Premier League and thought, well, Chris Wood scored 20 league goals playing for Forest. Do you know what I mean? And he's not an elite striker and he's in his 30s with no pace. But yeah, I hold my hands up. Do I completely blame him for all of it? I don't. I still honestly think the manager hasn't done enough to help him. But he's not at the level that I thought he was at. It's as simple as that. You know, his game is very restricted. I think if you're a team that can play in transition, teams are with high line, you get the ball over the top to him quick, I still think he can be lethal. But unfortunately, 75% of teams we play against, they're on the edge of the penalty area. And then we're in trouble. You know, we lack the ability to create chances. I want to say one thing, though. I think a lot of strikers will struggle in this team. I'm going to be totally honest. I think a lot of strikers will struggle in this team because we're not an easy team to play in as a striker. We're really not, man. Honestly, this team, you got to be a false 9 to play in this team, in my opinion. LV, your work. My ultimate video of yours is 2-0 Brentford. I want him gone tonight and drinking after the Wolves equaliser. Big up, free Eze and Waneri, Mikel. And now they're locked up, man. They're in solitary confinement. Yeah, the Wolves game. Yeah, that started making me drink. That's not good. You know, that's not good. I want him gone tonight against Brentford. There've been many occasions, you know. Elton said we'll go out the FA Cup on purpose. Watch it. No, we better not, Elton. Rich said, need an upgrade on Zubi. I'm not going to get carried away. I think we'll bottle it. We showed our mentality is weak. Didn't grab the opportunity. The key word, Rish, is balance. And I'll be totally honest. And listen, I feel I'm very honest on my channel. I hope you respect that. I feel I'm very open and honest about things. I lack balance at times when it comes to Arsenal. I do. I think it's part of being a football fan. Your team has some brilliant results. You start dreaming. Your players are great. Your manager's great. You're going to win this. You're going to win that. You lose some games or you draw. You don't play well. And you get that feeling in your tummy, guys. Every time Arsenal get me excited that we're going to be successful, we come crashing down. And then I start doubting everything that I've seen. So I'll be honest, my mood today and my thought process today is we ain't going to win the majors with this manager. That's my thought process. If I'm in that Manchester City changing rooms today on the training ground, getting changed, I'm going, lads, we can still catch these lot. They don't want to win it. They don't know how to win it. 6 points, still got to play them at the Etihad. Semenyo's over there holding up the shirt. They're trying to sign Gahey. I'd be sitting in that dressing room going, Nouri and Mamouche to come back from AFCON. Rodri's fit. Stone's apparently nearly fit. Diaz back in 6. We might win the next 3 games and I might go, we're back. Have to get Mateta. I like Mateta. Is he good enough to be the main one? I don't know. How did you stay calm while Judges was going mad on forever? I'm used to it, bro. I'm used to it. And I agree with him. I agree with a lot of what he said. And we'll talk about it in more detail. Was yesterday the whole fault of the manager? No, but he has to take a huge part of it. We all knew it, but how low is Martinelli's IQ? I mean, even the Conor Bradley thing, I thought was terrible, but just as a player, man, what is going on with him, man? How can a player regress? How can you train at Arsenal for years and your game intelligence doesn't improve? I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Martinelli, for me, I think I've run out of all patience with him as a player. Honestly, I find him so difficult to watch. I used to sit on the side where Theo Walcott used to shoot for Arsenal. And I found it so difficult watching him play football. Theo Walcott. And Theo Walcott scored 100 goals for Arsenal. So the thing that used to get him away with it was every now and then Walcott would pop up with some big goals for Arsenal. So you'd go, man, this guy's hard to watch, but at least he scores some important goals. Martinelli doesn't even score that often. So you're giving me Theo Walcott with no goals. It's an absolute disaster to watch. I'd get rid of him. Honestly, I'd get rid of Martinelli. And I know at times I've said Trossard, Martinelli. I would get rid of Martinelli. There has been no development. He has gone backwards. He would not get away with that at Manchester City. Pep would have him round the neck. It's just not good enough. It really isn't. Fane said, bro, I nearly cried when judges started shouting at Robbie over you and you sat there. Do you know what it is with me, people? I allow people to have their time. Lee was in his moment. Let him shout. And I agreed with a lot of what he was saying, as you could see. The arguments were on two sides of the panel. So let him flow, man. Shout your head off. Shout your head off. Big up Fitz. He said, big man, no matter what striker we have, they will not thrive under Arteta. Even a false nine is not the answer. All the roads of failure point to Mikel Arteta. You know, like Superman, certain kryptonite. This manager, it's the strikers. He doesn't know how to operate a striker. He doesn't. Unfortunately, we've had so many different kinds of striker, and it hasn't worked. You know, my only thing I would say, Fitz, is if he had a better version of the Havertz kind of striker, I think that is the closest version of what would be successful in this team. Now, I don't know who that is. Who is an actual great false nine? I don't know. Alvarez drops in a little bit. We spoke about earlier. Do you know what striker would actually be perfect for this manager? It wouldn't happen, but I actually think Harry Kane. Harry Kane actually can drop deep and link up play so well as he's got older, but can actually get in the penalty area and score goals as well. But we wouldn't get Harry Kane. Yeah, Griezmann, but obviously too old now. It's not going to happen. But a striker, mate, out and out striker, not happening. Not happening. No matter how much you want Odegaard to be replaced, that won't happen because Odegaard is ingrained in Arteta's system. He will start every game. Big up SG. I've lost a lot. Like Odegaard is another one for me that just. We're going to talk about it in more detail in player ratings as well. Do you think Isak Ekitike would work? Ekitike's got good link-up play, you know. Are you going to stop beefing Sesko to defend Joachim Fenwa? Listen, man, that giraffe ain't done nothing either, MJ, you know. Let's not pretend Tesco's been balling out because he scored a couple goals against Burnley. They've both struggled, man. Let's be real. Yeah. Curtis dropped his Joachim Fenwa coins. Yeah, I'm telling you, I had to cash them in. They're like, yo, but they're less than you paid for them. I said, just give me my... I'm not going to say, just give me my money. I mean, I'm getting a bit old for that, but you know what I'm saying, people. Let's face it, we've spent 60 million on the Swedish Dean Windass, said Mad About Sports Luke. I think that's disrespectful on Dean Windass. I remember his goal for Hull in the playoff final. No, I'm joking. Gyokeres is just another Bastos washed. That Portuguese league, man, I'm telling you, I might fly to Portugal next week. Surely, it may even the second division. If that's the top, got 90 goals in 2 seasons. I hope we sell Havertz and Martinelli, says Dan. Yeah, they'll probably get a new deal. Forever gonna, bro, I'm not even angry because I expected this to happen with Arteta. Chelsea, City, Liverpool twice, Man United and Spurs are trash either way, so I would be very angry. I was calm after the game. Doctor said, we all knew Gyokeres was a post-Mikel signing. We've seen more well-rounded strikers fail under Arteta. Arteta has a hard-on for a Berbatov regen. I'm calm on Gyokeres. I hear you, man. I always said, man, when Oba was leaving, it'll be hard to replace. He's not washed. Forever Gunner said, I don't blame Martinelli for the Bradley thing. There's a lot of time wasting in the last minutes, and Bradley was 2 or 3 centimetres away from the outline. Bradley should have gone outside the pitch. The only thing I would say, Forever Gunner, and listen, we don't know what his injury is as of yet. Liverpool haven't announced it. If you've got a serious knee injury, which I think it could be, are you going to be thinking, I need to roll off the pitch so they can continue the game? That's the last thing on your mind. Now, a lot of players do it. So that's why I think Martinelli did it himself 5 minutes earlier when he was with his arm in the air. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with him. But he ain't going to be thinking about rolling off the pitch if he's got a serious injury. SG, as soon as Arsenal could win a game to gain an advantage, they draw or lose. It seems that Arsenal are allergic to pressure. I used to call them no pressure FC. Once they can't win anything, they'll win about 6 games in a row, look like world beaters. Rish said, worried about Forest and United game, sign Krupi. That Krupi looks good, man. We'll have him at right back. No point signing him. Guna Genk, can't fully blame Gyokeres when all strikers fail under Mikel Arteta. Do you know what's really interesting? Big total hits. Have you received the top yet or not? Let me know. I haven't checked. The reality of the situation is, people, at this stage, is that the attacking players that we signed in the summer, in particular, we spent 65 million on Gyokeres. Right now in January, we're saying that deal has not worked. That deal has not worked. We spent 67 million on Eze. He's had some great games. He's had some poor games. Now he can barely get in the team. If you're being totally honest, that deal hasn't been what we thought it was going to be. I thought Gyokeres and Eze were game changers at this club. Now, are they the manager's fault or are they the players? Because Eze, for me, what almost surprises me with Arteta is it's almost like he signs a player, then he's surprised at them playing the way they play. Like, you must have watched Eze play that many times that you know that he's not a guy that runs around and goes and presses and things like that. When you have a player like Eze, they are a player that you're going to lose something to gain something else that's maybe even better. So when you sign an Eze, you're going to go, okay, defensively, he's not going to run through a brick wall. But can I get him on the ball in dangerous parts of the pitch where he can be a game changer? You know, that's what you're signing him for. If you remember back in the day, players like Chris Waddle and players like that, Ozil was a bit like it. They stroll around the pitch, you think, yo, but then bang, there's that pass, and you go, that's what he's there for. I looked at that game yesterday against Liverpool. We were desperate for a piece of brilliance, a pass, a run, something. That's the moment that you want Eze on the pitch. And he brings him on with 12 minutes to go. It's almost like he signed Eze, looked at him in training and gone, you're not the player I thought you was. But did you not watch this guy play multiple times before you did the deal? We're fans. It's not our responsibility. I don't watch Palace play every week. Most of the time, I just watch the highlights. But so you're looking at it going, let me get the calculator out. I should know this anyway, but I'm being lazy. 65 for Gyokeres. 67 for Eze. 52 for Noni Madueke. The 3 attacking players. £184 million on attacking players this summer. One's going to get dropped in Gyokeres. He can't hit a barn door. Got 1 penalty in 10 games. Eze's on the bench, barely getting sympathy minutes. And Noni gets a little 15-minute run out when he decides that Saka can't run anymore. £184 million. And those are the players, really, that were supposed to take us to the next level. Now, again, the question then is this Berta? Is this Arteta? How come he's not getting more out of Eze and Gyokeres? The thing that concerns me is we're going to end up with the same team that we had last season on the pitch. Probably Zubimendi will be the only one. And then you've spent 50-odd million on Zubimendi, and is he necessarily an upgrade? So you just wonder, why have we... That's the biggest transfer window we have had in the history of the football club. And it hasn't significantly improved us as a team. It's improved the squad because you're looking at the bench going, yo, we got quality. In terms of starting 11, we're not much better than last season. In fact, you could almost argue we're at the same sort of level. Is Zubimendi better than Partey? That's an argument. Is Gyokeres better than what we saw last year of Marino and Havertz? No, he's not. Saka doesn't look as good as last season because Saka had the hamstring injury. So that's my concern. We look very similar to last season. The defence maybe is stronger. So, listen, it's not all doom and gloom. I'll make it abundantly clear. We're top. We're 6 points clear. We're top of the Champions League group. Semi-final of the Carabao. Third round of the FA Cup. Everything to play for. But we don't want to see those same things come creeping back. Because we've seen this before. We've sat here in January and gone, yo, we're flying. Most points in a calendar year and this, that, the other, and best defence. End of the season, we're going, oh, do you win anything? No, nothing. Okay, so we've got to address these things now. These things have to be addressed now. Any word on Nkapie? Hoping he or Calafiori is back. Can't depend on Skelly at left back. He looks lost from last season. Yeah. I haven't heard about Nkapie. Apparently it's a hamstring injury. Doesn't look good. Gunnar Genk, Gyokeres also slowed down massively after that injury. Yeah, he actually looked like it was starting to work pre-injury for those 3 or 4 games before. Unreasonable, Martinelli will now be booed everywhere and we must sell him. I wonder if fans of the opposition teams will turn on him now. Fitz said it's not the players, it's the manager. I hear you on that. T-Dot, the fans were yelling at Odegaard and Saka. Arteta sub them off. He has no tactics. Right, let's get into it. I've definitely been waffling through the stream. Big up to everyone locked in. 1,500 of you, slightly later than usual, but we are here, which is the main thing, and it was needed. BX said, who buys a 28-year-old expecting the player to change their style? And that's a great point, by the way. Do you know what I mean? You get what you pay for. Sold as seen. Let's be real. This is what I think happened. You guys might agree. I think from what I heard when we was on tour, from what I've seen online, you guys know all this stuff anyway, so none of this is a surprise. Arteta wants Sesko. They've been trying to sign him for 18 months, 2 years. They've been trying to sign Sesko. This is the summer the Sesko deal is available. Leipzig have said this is the time you can buy him. Sesko, we heard, watched a game when Havertz scored 2 goals and was concerned that he wasn't going to be the starting striker. So I think Sesko talked himself out of coming to Arsenal. Berta and Arteta were probably like, this guy's not even keen to come to Arsenal. He hasn't even got the heart to say, I'm going to come to Arsenal, I'm going to get Havertz out of the team, and I'm going to be the main man. So I think they've looked at it and gone, why are we going to buy a guy that's never scored more than 13 goals, that is not even sure that he can displace Havertz from the team, when we've got a proven 97-goal striker that's saying, I'll dump my girlfriend, I'll sell my house, I'll give up the signing on fee, I'll do anything to get there. And I'm the most informed striker in Europe. And Berta is known for signing win-now strikers. Diego Costa, Falcao, Griezmann, all of these guys that have done the business at Atletico Madrid. So I think that's why, in the end, Arteta's probably gone, okay, we'll take a chance on him. But then what was the plan? How were you going to get the best out of him? He plays a certain way. You've got to play that way. Otherwise, he's going to look like the Swedish Ricky Lambert, you know? Now we're understanding why Gyokeres did everything to get here. He said, listen, if they see me outside of the Portuguese league, I'm cooked. Give me 5 years, 200 grand a week. When you see the real, it's too late. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. Starboy said, Curtis, all these Havertz fanboys saying he will fix everything. He's so much cap. Gyokeres isn't at his best, but he offers more than Havertz. My thing is, and I always say this, like, I think the two things are different. I don't rate Havertz, so I'm not buying into this whole Havertz is going to save us. I don't rate Jesus as a goal scorer, and I don't rate Havertz as a goal scorer. So for me, if Gyokeres isn't the answer, the solution is outside of the football club, long term. I'm not looking at Havertz thinking all of a sudden you're going to start balling out for us. He wasn't that good anyway. He's now had 2 major injuries, so I'm not buying into the Havertz hype. Flight Mode said Gyokeres is proving not to be good enough, but let's not ignore the fact we might not have anyone hit double figures in the league 2 seasons in a row, which is crazy, isn't it? A club like Arsenal. But yeah, it's like how many goals? Yeah, struggled and injured. But you know the thing I always say, Rascuna, is the pressure on Liverpool and Man City and Arsenal is totally different. Liverpool are the champions. City have won 4 out of 5. We're the club that need it more than anyone else. So, yeah. Anyway, right. I have absolutely waffled. 35 minutes in. We haven't even got into the stories. Big up to everyone locked in. Appreciate your support as always. Let's start off with positive news. It's positive. Listen, we can break down the facts, the figures, the numbers, but we still got to view it as a positive overall. This is still one of our main players committing his future to the club long term. We've had enough days of players walking out with a year to go and stuff like that. David Ornstein announced it. Exclusive, Bukayo Saka has agreed a new and improved 5-year contract to Arsenal. The 24-year-old England international at Arsenal, his current contract was until June 2027. Fresh terms will take him to the summer of 2031, which is a new 5-year deal in the process of being finalised. Deal to recognise the wingers standing amongst Europe's best. Europe's best. I even said this at the start of the week. When we hit a difficult spell, they will pull that contract out of the drawer and they will announce it. And they thought Martinelli's getting bad PR for last night. It was a draw that the fans were disappointed with. Released that contract. Now, Saka, 20. Let's have a look. We'll have a look. I'm just having a look at Saka's numbers, right? And I always say on this channel, football isn't just a numbers game, but it is a numbers game as well. It's something that you do have to look at and sort of make a judgment of a player. And is he improving? Is he getting better? So on and so forth. Bukayo Saka, if we just go from 22-23, which we'll base it on the title challenge in years. 22-23, 14 Premier League goals, 12 assists. Fantastic season. That was a season when we were just brilliant going forward. This is only Premier League, by the way. He then got 15 and another 12 assists. So another really good season. 24-25, which was last season, 6 goals, 11 assists. Played a lot less games because he tore his hamstring. So the numbers dropped. 17 GA in 25 games. Still a good return. This season, Bukayo Saka, Premier League only, 4 goals in 19 games. I mean, the numbers are dropping. And again, I'm not blaming him solely because if you tear your right hamstring and you need an operation on it and you're out for 4 months and then you pull the left hamstring and you're out for 6 to 8 weeks, trust me, you probably aren't going to be quite the same player. That's the reality of the situation. I don't blame him. We flogged him, people. We've absolutely flogged him. I said it before. The day Aubameyang walked out of this club, they basically crowned him and said, we need you to carry this club on your shoulders. And you know what? I respect him. He's done his very best to do that. He's 24. It feels like he's been around for like a decade, and I think we've literally overplayed him over the years. We've been desperate for rotation for Saka for years and years and years. They signed Willian, it didn't work. They signed Raheem Sterling, it didn't work. They didn't seem to want to play Nwaneri on the right, even though he played quite well. Now they've obviously got Noni, but even Noni doesn't come on in certain games. So listen, you've got to give him the deal. You can't allow him to go into the last year of his deal. It's a disaster. I still think Saka is a top player, but I suppose the question that I'm asking is, why does he look like he's regressing? And I suppose the answer again is in the injury. The injuries have caused that regression. I mean, I'm just having a look. I mean, I've watched Lamine Yamal play a few times this season, and he's just absolute different class. And again, I mean, I'm looking at Lamine, 7 goals, 7 assists in 15 games in the league. But he's just phenomenal to watch. Like, honestly, I think he's an absolute world beater. Um, Elise's got 7 goals, 5 assists on the right hand side. Much easier league. Rafinha's just come back from injury as well. He looks lively. He hasn't played a lot as he's been injured, but he's got 7 goals and 3 assists in 12 games as well. The thing nowadays, people, is that apart from your Haalands, your Mbappes, your Kanes, a lot of the time now, the goals are coming from the wingers. Strikers are not strikers anymore in the same way. They're much more link players now. And your wide players are the guys that get a lot of goals outside of, as we said, your Mbappes and things like that. Now, at the moment, we've got a striker that's not scoring goals. And I think our attack is still built around our wingers, which means your Sakas need to score more goals. If our striker's not going to get the chances, our wingers need to score the chances. You know, I just think for me, with Saka, I rate him highly as a player. I've got no problem with the contract, but I want to see his game go up to another level. I don't want to be sitting here going, is he world class or not? I want it to be certified all over the world. You're the biggest player at Arsenal. You're one of England's top players. And I just think he's sort of stalled the car a little bit in terms of his progression. I'd like to see him higher up the pitch. I'd like to see him play with a little bit more skill, a bit more flair. If you combined him and Noni Madueke, it would be an absolute superstar. Noni can go past players with ease, and Saka has better end product than Noni. Imagine if you combine the two of them. But yeah, it is what it is, and it is where we are, people. But listen, new 5-year deal, and let's hope we see improvement in his game. I thought he played quite well in the first half against Gyokeres. Second half, not so much. 300 grand a week, man. Unbelievable contract for him. For an academy graduate, it's an incredible deal. I just hope we're not sitting here in 3 years' time and having that sort of conversation that Man United are having about Rashford, where you're going, oh, we gave him 300 grand 5 years. He didn't live up to it, and now we can't get him off the books because no one's going to pay that for him. You know, they were in that situation with Rashford. He had a great season, pointing at his head. There's the big deal, the big money. A couple of years later, they can't give him away. So let's just hope we're not in that situation. Let's hope he, continues to progress. So Saka signs a new 5-year deal at Arsenal. Jamil said, see, if all strikers are in full form, Gyokeres is the most sustainable, the only one that gets you over the line. 9, 23 and 29 are not good alternatives. If you're picking your poison, Gyokeres is your best shot. Jesus, for me, is unreliable. I don't think you can rely on him physically to do it. There's a big difference coming off for 20 minutes and looking good than starting. Marino, he's not the answer. He's just not. He'll have them games. He's rolling around the floor. He doesn't run. Havertz, I mean, I don't rate Havertz. I think Gyokeres is a better striker, but he's going to end up getting benched. That's the reality. He is. When Havertz is fully fit, Gyokeres is going to get benched. He's had a lot of opportunities, and he just hasn't performed. I mean, we're going to do player ratings shortly, but I think the corner flag was more involved in yesterday's game than Gyokeres. He's basically not. I have never in my life seen an Arsenal striker who finds it more difficult to get involved in the game. I've never seen it. And I've seen bad strikers at Arsenal. You all have. You've seen Shamak, Sanogo, Bentner. Those guys, Bentner used to get involved in the game. He missed chances. He can barely, I think they said he had 8 touches of the ball yesterday. No shots on target. I mean, you can't carry that. I'm sorry. And you guys know I've really defended Gyokeres, and I'm genuinely not sitting here saying he's a terrible player. But we're just not built for him right now. And this manager ain't going to change for him, and that's where you're at. Statue of Liberty had more movement than Gyokeres last night. I'm telling you, it's probably windy in New York. If we sacked Gyokeres now and got a top manager, we would 100% win the Prem, the Champions League, or both. If you believe in this statement, which most would, then Arteta is the issue. I mean, listen, I think this will be this season's make or break for him. You know, it's make or break. I spoke about it the other day, but I think Arteta could have been sacked 4 or 5 times since he's been the Arsenal manager. And that's me just being genuinely open. I think he could have. I think he should have gone in his first full season at the end. I think finishing 8th in a full season at Arsenal, you should have got your P45. Then when we finished 5th, when we bottled top 4, when I was ripping the shirt, he should have gone that season. Conte turned up at Tottenham in January and took 4th offers. Should have gone. Losing to Emery in a Europa League semi-final, embarrassing. There's just so many. He's got no excuses in the world left. You've had everything: PR, sporting directors, money, time, the fans. He's had the lot. Win or go. Get me Luis Enrique in the summer. 70% the manager, 30% the players. Our attack will be to blame if we bottle the league. Jesus needs to improve, but no strikers thrive during Arteta's tenure. Tolossi said, looking at it now, Saka or Gyokeres. Neither one of them would be the answer. Ain't one or the other for me. Because it was never for me Gyokeres or Saka. If it wasn't Gyokeres, I didn't want Saka. So I don't want any of the two if that's the case. I wanted Isak or Osimhen if it wasn't Gyokeres. But, oh, you meant Gyokeres. Fair enough. Right, let's move on from this. Let's move on, people. Let's, unfortunately, talk about last night's game. And then we'll look at 1 or 2 other things. I haven't even thought about player ratings. I mean, the Premier League must have been sat there last night going, we purposely put this game on Thursday so the whole world can watch this. And you see that game and you go, that ain't going to make the Premier League look great, is it? However, we're not, it's not our responsibility to make the Prem look good, but it certainly didn't make a... What's going on here, by the way? GG Trucker said, Big C, he said, he asked his sister why she has a crush on you. She said, because you look like WWE Godfather. Pimping ain't easy. She's on the hoe train. I mean, you know what I mean? Pimping ain't easy, people. You know what I mean? Pimping ain't easy. Nah, relax, man. You get me in trouble. You know what I mean? These hoes ain't loyal. Whoa. Nah, let's leave it. Let's leave it. It's Friday. It's been a long week, people. It's been a long week. Let's move on. Let's move on. Anyway, let's talk about... Yeah, we're trying to... Yo, come on. Arsenal, Liverpool. Stay focused. Stay focused. What are we doing here? What kind of super chat is that, by the way? But anyway... right, let's talk about Gyokeres nearly got even there he can't get a touch of the ball. You know what I mean? Against Frimpong, who's half his size. Yeah, it was a stinker of a game. 8 shots, 4 on target, less possession. Just a snore fest of a football match. Absolutely awful that game was. Flying Dutchman said, we've only lost once in the last 28 games, yet the community continues to moan. We are the best performing team in Europe. You all need to chill. You know what is Flying Dutchman? When you've had 3 years of title challenges that have led to nothing, and the 4th one, you see warning signs, you need to react to them. I understand your point. We're top, so it's not the time to hit the panic button. But we've also got to be aware, and Arteta's got to be aware as well, and go, don't panic. We're top. Things are going well. But also, if you just do what you've done before, you're going to end up with the same result. So I get you. It's not the point for meltdowns, but the Titanic hits the iceberg. And if you can see something in the distance, maybe start steering the ship out of the way. You know what I mean? Arsenal fans will be like, no, I don't think it's an iceberg. But you know, last time it was an iceberg. Why don't you just be careful and steer to the left and just go around it? If we get there and it's not the iceberg, at least we can just steer back. Nah, no chance. It can't, not twice. It can't be an... Oh, God! Get the lifeboats out. We've hit it. That's Arsenal people. That's the Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans, a lot of them, not everyone, by the way, they don't like constructive criticism. They want you to tell them how great everything is. They want you to say everything. Oh, this manager's great. Our team's amazing. Everything's super. We're going to win everything. Oh, we're such a. If you start saying, yeah, but is the manager that good? And they go crazy. You know what I mean? The Titanic. And I'm telling you, man, iceberg right ahead, people. And Pep's bald heads at the top. You start criticizing people, they lose their mind. Anyway, let's go through the player ratings. Best squad in Europe, they said. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm not even sure. Do you know what? I'm going to do a show. We're going to break down the Premier League squads. Forget Europe. This sort of, what will it take for you all to chill? Another unbeaten season? I don't need an unbeaten season, bro. I need a major trophy. That will make me chill, Flying Dutchman. You know what I mean? Win a title. 6 years in, billions spent. It's okay to criticise these players. As a fan base, we need to grow up and understand we have to push them as well, rather than slag them off. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. To be honest, I'm more looking at the manager. To be honest, I'm not even really hammering the players. They just weren't up for it last night. It happens. It was frustrating. But I was more looking at, they have to split the responsibility. Best squad, Big C, if the manager utilises such squad. Let's go through the player ratings. David Raya. Oh, yeah, DT was crying on Twitter again, apparently. Oh, my days, how dare you criticise Mikel Arteta, even though the guy made his whole name off abusing Arsene Wenger, arguably the greatest manager in the club's history. Make that make sense, bro. You know what I mean? I know it's, the hypocrisy is crazy. The hypocrisy is crazy as some of these fans. I think he's just angry that, you know, he was in a good situation, his content and his channel, and then next minute, your channel ain't doing nothing, you're in a prison cell, you mash things up for yourself, bro. I get it. You're angry at yourself. Ain't my fault. You know what I'm saying? Ain't my fault. You have to just leave them people there to just punch themselves. You know what I mean? The man's just angry with himself. It's as simple as that, people. You know what I mean? But let's focus on positive things. You know what I mean? David Raya in goal, people. David Raya in goal. Oh, guys. Oh, guys. Oh, guys. It's unbelievable, guys. It's unbelievable. David Raya. What are we going to give to... Do you know I haven't even planned these player ratings? What are we going to get in these player ratings? He didn't have a save to make. I'm just looking at the stat. Yeah, they didn't have a shot on target. So, what do you even give him for that? 6? Oh, guys. Oh, guys. 6 out of 10, maybe. I thought he took too long on the ball last night. Divering on the ball. I swear Raya must be like a frustrated outfield player that went in goal. He wants to play outfield. You can just tell. Let's give him a 6 out of 10. No shots on target. Yeah, he came running out for that one that Saliba passed it back to him. The back four. Do you know what? I've got no enthusiasm for this player ratings. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm struggling to even sit here and speak about each player individually. It was just, I feel like I'm wasting my time even talking about them, to be honest. I mean, the back four, yeah, they were okay. 6 for all of them. You know, 6 for... I actually can't be to even talk about them individually. 6 for the whole back four. He kept a clean sheet. The midfield, yeah, non-existent. All of them. Yeah, even Lay wants me to skip the rating. And, you know what I mean? I genuinely... I don't even have the enthusiasm to do a player ratings for that game. The midfield was non-existent. It was like the middle of a bagel. It was empty. Declan Rice, Declan Couscous, Zubomendi, Scooby-Doo, and Odegaard trick-or-treating again. No one can find him. Turned up as a ghost. Midfield, we lost the midfield battle. Simple as that. Odegaard, have you ever seen a midfielder, a captain, get substituted as much as Odegaard? I've never seen it. And the front three, Saka, decent for the first half an hour. After that, did nothing. Gyokeres, I mean, the corner flag was more of a goal threat. Trossard was trying to get sent off. He started the game okay, got booked and then got worse. So let's be honest. 5 for Saka, 3 for Gyokeres, 4 for Trossard. Rubbish. Our best players were our defenders. In terms of the bench, Jesus did nothing. Eze, I didn't even know he was on the pitch. Martinelli, Rice put him for a brain. Noni Madueke got past the guy once, never got the ball again. And Miles Lewis-Skelly, I mean, he ever tried to run when you're in water? Like you go in the sea and you try and run. Or you're running on the sand and it's hard to run because, like, you know, as you're running on the sand, your feet are like sinking into the sand, so it's heavy. Lewis-Skelly looked like he was running on a beach yesterday. I mean, I know Frimpong's quick, but brother, man's running in sandcastles. I thought he had concrete football boots on. Please, Mikel, save him. He's a young buck. As a fan base, we respect him. Skelly is a midfielder. I know he did all right at left. He did very well at left back last season. That chapter's finished now. Put Skelly back in midfield and leave him alone from left back. You've got Calafiori, you've got Nkapie, although they're both injured, by the way, so you actually haven't got them. But yeah, Skelly, that was, you wouldn't want to watch the highlights back because all I saw was Frimpong just, yeah, I mean, Frimpong, Skelly just, yo, this guy's too quick. I can't catch him. It was mad. Let's not even bother with the player ratings. Arteta, 3 out of 10 as well. Pick the right team. I'll give you a 3 for that. Substitutions, like for like. Okay, he's going to take off Martinelli. He's going to bring Martinelli on for Trossard. He's going to bring Jesus on for Gyokeres. He's going to bring Noni Madueke on for Saka. I mean, Stevie Wonder could see that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? Is there any chance of you bringing on an attacking midfielder and playing him with another attacking midfielder just to give us more of an opportunity to create chances? Why not add Eze to Odegaard? Why not see that Gyokeres is struggling and put another striker up front with Victor Gyokeres? Play Jesus and Gyokeres. Liverpool have got no striker. No Isak, no Ekatike, no Mo Salah. Frimpong a right back playing right wing. Florian Wirtz playing false 9 and Gakpo on the right. You are never going to play against a weaker Liverpool attack than that. And you're just doing like-for-like changes that made no difference to the game because everything else was the same. I sent a midfielders dropping into defence to pick up the ball. Do something different if you want to get different results. Unfortunately, when we went to Chelsea and they were down to 10 men, we didn't throw the kitchen sink at it. And last night we didn't either. I have no problem with Arsenal drawing a game to Liverpool. Liverpool are the champions, no matter what we think about them. They've got good players who've won big trophies. You know, I don't expect Arsenal to just batter teams every week. They've got world-class players, you know, in Van Dijk and players like that, Alisson. As a fan, what disappointed me was I want Arsenal to come away from games and you go, they really went for that. They hit the post. The keeper made a save. We put them under loads of pressure. And it just didn't happen yesterday. You know, and I believe for Arsenal to win the league, we've got to pull away from City. You don't want to be getting to March, April, and you're 3 points clear or you're 2 points or you're 1 point behind them. Pep loves that kind of situation. I think Arsenal need to end up 10 points clear of Man City to give ourselves that breathing space. So, listen, it's not time to hit the panic button, but we need to take opportunities when you've got them in life, people. When you've got a great opportunity in life, go for it. If it doesn't work, you won't have no regrets, but not going for it is the biggest regret you can have, you know? And I don't want Arsenal to sit here at the end of the season and go, we didn't quite go for it when we had the opportunities to pull away from them, you know? Emmanuel said, Big C, your fans said Liverpool came to draw with no attacker. Now City's got Semenyo and your right back is shambolic. Our right back. Our right back's timber, bro. He's class. Saka and Rice are not world class. Sorry. Listen, fair enough. I'm not sure about Saka being world class at the moment. I think Rice has been brilliant for the last couple of years at Arsenal. But he wasn't at his best yesterday. That's a fact. Yeah, I thought Gravenberch was too strong. Kendro said 10s were second strikers, now centre mids. Let Eze drift from wide. Timber's crossing wasn't good yesterday. Nah, he needs to improve going forward. There's definitely room for improvement going forward. Timber, he just floats the ball in. Like, whip it in with pace, bro. You know what I'm saying? But, right, apologies in advance, but it's press conference reaction time. If you need a little 5-minute break, go to the toilet, get the bins in, make yourself a drink. I've got no problem if you need to step away from this. This is painful for myself. The only good thing, post-game press conference is quick, it's short, so this ain't going to be much waffle, just small waffle, people. Mickey Mouse waffle. Disney World settings. I can't lie, when I went Disney World last year, I had Mickey Mouse waffles. They were unbelievable. I don't know what they make them waffles with, but they were incredible. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there, big Ross grown man in Disney World, eating a waffle with a big picture of Mickey Mouse on it. It was incredible. Americans, they just do food different. It might not be that healthy though, but the waffles obviously aren't healthy, but and the portions in America, they're just ridiculous as well. You can hardly finish. In England, you go to a restaurant, you order a main, especially if you go to a nice restaurant. Half of the plate is decoration. There'll be like a little leaf in the corner. They might have a little sauce where they've drew some little pattern of sauce around the edge. And then you get some little piece of dinner in the middle. And they're charging you like £200 for it. You're like, what the hell is this? I ordered a steak. That was like a chicken strip. You know what I'm saying? What the hell are you? But the plates, all this, and they're bringing up. You got America restaurant. You're like, Ross, what's that, man? I can't deal with that. European eating is different. Yeah, I don't know. The States, man, they feed you in the States. Refillable drinks, all of that. It's madness. But whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know, But Europe's, they don't want to feed you over here, man. Anyway, it's that time. Mickey Rouse, the boss. Cone Man music. Is the Cone Man gonna win Arsenal the league? Or is he gonna frustrate us all? He got booked last night coming out of the technical area. He was heated, but keep your calm, I asked for a steak in the US. They brought me a whole cow. Still mooing on the plate, you know what I mean? Have as much as you want. It's crazy. Curtis should be a character in GTA. Yeah, listen, I don't mind. GTA 6 coming out, We can do it. Obesity is off the chain in America. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good, of course. Oh, look at the state of the first answer, man. It's a storybook, innit? On the game, we obviously wanted to win. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to do that in the first half. We were much closer with the amount of situations and spaces we arrived into. Normally, you have to pick someone in the box and it's a goal. We had much more domination in the second half. Did we really? I didn't see it. We struggled to dominate the game more through two things. One, because we gave some very unnecessary balls away, very unlike with us. And that didn't allow us to travel together as a team. Oh, you was on separate flights. And when you don't do that, you are not compact and they start to drop everybody behind the ball and through midfield and back without having any presence in the box, obviously. But they have the ball because I don't think they had a single shot on target tonight, but we struggled more to dominate the game, to be a threat in the opposition. But, I mean, honestly, just put us out of our misery. We dominated the second half, did we? We stood off them and watched them keep possession. They had the ball more than us in it. What kind of domination are you seeing? Because I never saw it. I didn't see it. And then you're throwing in little slide digs. Oh, they never had a shot. Who cares? What does that give us? Does that get us a goal? No, it doesn't. They had no attack, no strikers, no Salah. What did you expect them to do? They hit the crossbar. We didn't. Crazy. On our chance creation, the movement was there, the arrival was there, the players were there. There are 2 or 3 that came across, and we need to occupy a space that we didn't occupy to score the goal. But in many other occasions, the situation was there. But against Villa, we were excellent at that. And every time we do that, that's why you win those big matches. And today we missed that. We were missing that. At least we were so disciplined, we didn't concede. Well, yeah, at least we got a point, mate. How about going for it? How about changing the system and playing on the front foot and don't stand off a Liverpool team that have been getting smacked up this season? They lost 3-0 to Forest. They lost 3-0 to Man City. It's nonsense. And whether tonight feels like a missed opportunity, yeah, every time you don't win, then we would have been 12, 15 or 20 points ahead. I have to really praise the team and the players individually for what they've done in this Christmas period. The demands and the schedule, it's unbelievable. What they've done is remarkable. So to come out of the period with all the issues we had in the position we are in a strong position, I think the boys deserve credit. They do deserve credit because he has flogged a lot of them, to be honest. Which is why we get so many injuries. On having our supporters behind us, we'll go again. Thank you so much for the atmosphere, always being behind the team. That's it. I actually thought the atmosphere got worse as the game went on. You can't really blame the players, the fans, because sometimes players have to give fans something to believe in. Imagine sitting there in the rain, in the cold, and watching that. And ticket prices went up after Man City dropped points because the game suddenly looked even bigger. So you can't really blame the fans. On Martinelli's incident with Conor Bradley, knowing Gabby, if anybody knows Gabby, he's an incredible, lovely guy. Probably he didn't realise what happened. I hope that Conor as well. I will have a word with him now, with him to understand that, but probably he didn't recognise what happened. As I said, I don't want to go over the top, but I thought Martinelli got that situation wrong. I didn't like it. I don't think he represented us well. And the fact he publicly apologised on social media, I reckon the club saw the backlash that Martinelli got and said, you need to apologise publicly for that. I don't think just sending him a message is going to be enough. And let's see what the injury is. It looked a bad one. On the difficulty of maintaining the level, I have this feeling since August, we all have the same, every manager, every player, every team, this is the level of the league. And whether the players find it difficult, what it makes me feel is proud. I know how difficult it is and what they're doing. I recognise what they do. It's unbelievable, guys. On Gyokeres' performance, he was in a great position. Sometimes the ball didn't arrive, as I said. There were situations, normally we go into the 6-yard box that was almost the ball at the feet. Normally that's a goal or you pick somebody and you score. We didn't do that. That's the thing today. We have to improve apart from things that we did in the second half that wasn't probably at the standards we're used to. But didn't he just say we dominated the second half? Now he's saying we did in the second half that probably wasn't at the standards. I don't know. Maybe we dominated but didn't dominate. Who knows? Oh, it's the most dominating performance I've seen in my life, guys. We did so many things good, guys. But also, guys, it wasn't at the standard that we require, guys. It was not good enough, guys. Mikel, you just said it was unbelievable. You said we dominated again. I did not say that. You said that. I did not say dominate. You said dominate. And what he's most proud of this season, no, he's so proud. Oh, guys, I'm so proud, guys. The desire they have to win and the consistency that they are showing with the schedule that we have in front of us and the situation we have to deal with. I think what we're doing is remarkable. We want to continue to improve, learn, and every game is an opportunity to do that. Tonight as well, the actual champions. Let's not forget that. They are an incredible team. Today we have to reflect on that. Tomorrow we go again because we have another game on Sunday. You know what I love about Arteta's press conferences? He talks about the schedule like we are being singled out and playing games that other teams are not playing. Aren't City in all 4 competitions? Aren't Newcastle and Chelsea in 4 competitions? FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Europe, and the Premier League. Like, this isn't a singular situation. Oh, the schedule, guys, is unprecedented, guys. We play games every 2.5 days, guys. I've never seen anything like it, guys. I've never seen anything like it, guys. It's unbelievable what the players are doing, guys. Oh, guys. I cannot believe you play games every 3 days, guys. You're on 15 million a season. Get on with it, man. What are you talking about? There's people going work 6 days a week, 7 days a week. Keep it moving, bro. Keep it moving. You get paid 15 million a season. I don't want to hit. Sympathy, bro. For what? You've got a dream job. Win the league. Why are we still sticking with Arteta? I don't get it. Look, at the end of the day, Sposh, for him to get sacked, he's got to be in a bad situation. At the moment, we're top of the league, top of the Champions League. Even I wouldn't sack Arteta right now. And I'm not a fan of Arteta. And it's as simple as that. You don't rock the boat in the middle of a season. Now, listen, if we get to the end of the season and we haven't won anything, maybe there's some truth in what you're saying. But I think it's even the reason that Liverpool didn't move slot on, because the replacements are not there right now. The replacements are not there. Who could you get? You ain't getting Luis Enrique out of PSG mid-season. So if you're looking at an unemployed manager right now, I'm not sure who you could get, who is a top manager. I mean, look, you might be able to get like a Glasner out of Palace or something, but I think they'll give him until the end of the season, Sposh. I really do. Found me some cash. One thing is clear, regardless of trophies with the club in this state, ownership would not replace Mikel in 1 million years. They're happy with him, man. Pierre said if Arsenal dominated, why is he jumping up and down on the touchline? Arteta is not a winner. He should definitely be a coach, not a manager. Coaching and management is two different things. And you're spot on there, Pierre. Coaching requires being a coach. Managing requires people skills. I've been on the training ground. You guys have played football before. A coach doesn't even need to, he just needs to teach you what you need to know about being on the pitch, right? A manager sometimes might need to talk to you about real life. Yo, I'm going through this, and this is affecting my training, or this is management. Have you got that ability to know when to put your arm around a player, when to give another player a kick up the backside, yo, fix up, how to deal with a young player, how to keep substitutes feeling like they're still part of the squad? All those sorts of things are required to be a manager. And those are totally different skill sets than just being a coach. He might be a good coach. I don't know. Some people say he's a really good coach. I'm still not even totally convinced about that. Some of them, yeah, I'll give him some credit, but has Martinelli improved under his coaching? Is Saka much better under his coaching right now? Has Havertz improved? Has Jesus improved? I give him credit, Saliba and Gabriel and Timber. Defensive players, Declan Rice, give him credit for that. But ultimately, he spent an absolute fortune to build this squad. And I look at how he's dealt with certain players who probably had a bit of backbone and personality. Emi Martinez, Guendouzi, Oba, all these guys. He never seemed to want to work with them. It was like, get rid of them. And I've always said before that a lot of the best players have got personality and attitude, and you've got to know how to deal with that. Anelka was called Le Souk. You know what I mean? Wenger didn't say, I'll get rid of him, he sulks too much. I've heard from multiple people Thierry Henry was really, really difficult to manage. You know what I mean? Was shouting at players, angry when the standards were dropped. I'm not saying any of these players are on Thierry's level, but, we heard when Alexis Sanchez left, wasn't popular in the dressing room. Probably because he wanted to win so much, as Bellerin said. And you look at certain things, you go, Waneri at the moment, dismissed. Last season we all loved him, signed a new deal, future star, can't get a kick. Lewis Skelly, starting left back for Arsenal and England. A year later, looks a shadow of himself. You've then got Eze. We were so excited to sign him. Shadow of himself right now. Gyokeres, most prolific striker in Europe. Shadow of himself. Do you know what I mean? Noni Madueke. Did we need to spend 52 million on a backup right winger that doesn't actually play that much? I think there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. Now, I said it before and I say it again, people. Winning fixes everything in football. You win the league, all these questions disappear. Oh, so what if Ethan didn't play? You won the title. So what if Eze didn't get as much game time? He won the title. And the collective is more important than the individual. And that's the thing. That's the reason why that's the reason why it's important to talk about these things. You know, and listen, there'll be people coming into the chat today saying, "Oh, it's a bit of an overreaction. You're still top of the league. You're 6 points clear. You know, it's not It's not a meltdown. I didn't call today's show Arsenal therapy. I'm not calling for the manager to go. I'm not hammering the players. I'm saying address these things before they become a bigger problem. Address these things. Why is Gyokeres not scoring goals? Why does Saka not quite look at the same level? Why is Odegaard having games where he's just not effective whatsoever? You know, where he's just looking busy doing that in-betweeners dance again. Why is Zubimendi struggling at times in the Premier League against more physical opposition? Do we need to change in certain games? Could you put Declan Rice in the 6, put Zubimendi in the 8 against a more physical opposition where you need Rice's physicality to protect? And then maybe Zubimendi goes into that sort of Vitinha role and get him to create a little bit more, rather than leaving Zubimendi in the 6 against better midfields. He struggled against Villa in the first half. He struggled yesterday against Liverpool. He struggled at Old Trafford against Manchester United. So these are the sort of questions. People told me Norgard was a sensible signing. 33 minutes of football in the Premier League this season. What was the point in that signing? You know, these are the things. Now, some people will say, it doesn't matter that much if Norgard's playing. It does. But what happens is, what he does, he picks his team. He said, this is the team I like right now. And I think we know what team he wants to pick. Calafiori, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, Gyokeres. That'll eventually be Kai Havertz. But what Arteta does, he focuses so much on that 11 that you maybe got 2 or 3 players that will bring on every week. If you're outside of that group of like 14, you are like a forgotten man. You're literally pushed aside. And then what happens is you get like the Lewis Skelly situation last night. You're in the cold, and Nketiah gets injured. You come on, you get destroyed. Your confidence is on the floor now. And then when they come back, you'll get dropped because you've looked terrible now. And then everyone will write you off. And everyone will start going, yeah, Lewis Skelly's rubbish. And you go, no, actually, he's not rubbish, because last season he's one of the best left backs in the Premier League and starting for England. It's the circumstances that are making him look poor. What you need is the manager to be aware and go, okay, Skelly did brilliant for me last season. Now he's got too much traffic in front of him at left back. Let's have a look at Skelly's game. Actually, he can offer us something in midfield. So I'm going to now move him into midfield. I'm going to stop playing him left back unless it's an emergency, and I'm going to use you in the left 8. He had a little moment in that game yesterday, right, where he spun, I think it was McAllister, he spun him in the middle of the pitch, played a little through ball into Martinelli. Martinelli crossed it, he was offside. And I went, I haven't seen anybody today play a ball like that in the Arsenal team. I haven't seen that all game. So clearly he's got talent. He's strong, he can drive on the ball. But at the moment, playing him left back's not working. And these are the things that Arteta needs to recognise. Make little changes. Adapt a little bit. Can Zubi go in the 8? Can Rice go in the 6? Just for certain games when it gets more difficult. Can you play Eze with Odegaard in attacking midfield if we're struggling to create chances? Are you telling me Ethan Nwaneri is not good enough to be in this squad? Are you telling me he doesn't have anything to offer? Because I'm telling you something. The 2 players in this Arsenal team that are most comfortable 1v1 with a defender, with a ball at their feet, one of them is Ethan Nwaneri, the other one is Noni Madueke. And none of them start in this team on a regular basis. Now, obviously, you've got Saka. I understand that. But these guys should be getting game time. I don't think Ethan should be being left out of the squad. I don't think that bench is good enough that you're going, yeah, you can't even get on the bench. But last season, you nearly got in the England squad. He was scoring goals for us last season. We were loving him. So I don't know what his problem is with Ethan. Ethan should be playing, even if it's just 20 minutes off the bench. Impact, you know. Let me read out these super chats. Big up to everyone locked in. Appreciate your support. He said, Emmanuel said, what are you saying, Curtis? Don't fall for this narrative against Arsenal. Just like Martinelli, at first glance, most of us thought Bradley was trying to time waste, nothing malicious. Listen, I don't want to destroy Martinelli because maybe he wasn't aware of the circumstances. I can tell you from my point of view, Emmanuel, the way I saw Bradley jump up and land, I said straight away, I think that's a bad injury. I did not think for 1 second he was time wasting. You watch the replay back, look at the way he jars his knee. I think he's. I hope he hasn't, but I think it could be a bad injury. But listen, we don't need to destroy Martinelli, you know. But it wasn't a good look. You look at Chelsea the other day. Reece James was helping Vardiol off the pitch when he broke his leg. You know, he could have gone, nah, that didn't look bad. He's time wasting. Get him off the pitch. He went, let me help this brother off the pitch. I'm not saying Martinelli should. Well, he did help him off the pitch. He tried to throw him off the pitch. But imagine it comes out that he's got a massive knee injury and Martinelli's there pushing the guy off the pitch. It was distasteful, man. Looked like Liverpool allowed our least dangerous players possession in the first half and nullified us. What do you think changed in the second half? That's a good point, you know. I think people now, if you double up on Saka, you're probably confident you can go 1v1 with Gyokeres and Trossard. That's probably the way to stop Arsenal. What do you think changed in the second half? I thought Liverpool got more belief in the second half. That's why they started dominating the ball. I don't think we did dominate in the second half. I thought we looked short of ideas. That's what I would say. I thought we were short of ideas of how to break them down. Because our thing is set pieces or get the ball to our wingers and put crosses in. We need to create in different ways. I think that helps us. Gary, now listen. One thing I will say, right, and I'm going to defend us a little bit. You've got Gary Neville and Roy Keane in the studio destroying Martinelli. And I don't agree with what Martinelli did. I've said that openly. I thought it was wrong. Gary Neville literally just hacked Reyes down for a whole game at Old Trafford. And Roy Keane literally ended Alfie Haaland's career. So, you know, at the same time, let's look who's sending the message, you know. What Emery did at Villarreal and Villa, Arteta could never do, says Troy. Nah, he couldn't. Big up King Rapid with the super sticker. And Michael, the coffee drinker, says the title race is only going to get harder when the Champions League knockout and the FA Cup starts to get competitive. That's when the tests start. Absolutely bang on. Bang on. Because right now, FA Cup, Portsmouth, you can go and make 10 changes. You should win that game. Champions League, we've basically qualified. You can go and play Kairat, and I think we got Inter. You can make changes. We're still going to qualify. Wait until you're in March and you've got a Champions League quarter-final on Wednesday, a big league game on Saturday, another Champions League game the following Wednesday, and then an FA Cup quarter-final. And you don't know what to do in terms of rotation because every game's got so much riding on it. So I don't want to hear Arteta saying, oh, you know, the schedule's going to get harder. This ain't even crunch time yet. These aren't the championship rounds. You got to wait until you get to those points of the season. But listen, maybe it's my mindset when it comes to Arsenal people, right? I'm going to end the stream like this. Arsenal are top. They're 6 points clear. If you'd have offered every Arsenal fan that at the start of the season, we'd have all taken it, right? At this point in the season, top of the Champions League, cool. So in perspective, everything is reasonably... It's good. It is good. My thought process is we need a bigger points gap. This is Pep Guardiola. This is Haaland. This is a team that know how to win a title. We're a team that over the last 3 years has not dealt with that pressure. So I think that we need to figure out how to get further away from them rather than keeping it a close race. Now, I think the players have done well because he hasn't rotated as much as he should have. And that has led to injuries. Look how many of our players have been injured this season, by the way. Saliba rolled his ankle. Gabriel, thigh injury. Calafiori, injured again. Nkapie pulls his hamstring. Timber had a knock for a week or so. Ben White's been injured. That's practically our whole defence. Mosquera injured as well. Apart from Lewis Skelly, that's every single defender at the club has been injured. You go into midfield. Declan Rice had a small injury that kept him out. Zubimendi hasn't been injured yet. Odegaard's been injured. Eze hasn't been injured. Norgard, has he been injured? He's hardly kicked a ball. Madueke injured. Saka injured. I think Martinelli might have got injured, or I could be mixing that up with a different season. Gyokeres injured. Jesus just coming back from injury. Havertz injured. That's nearly the whole squad. And we're only 6 months into a season. That is crazy. That is crazy. And a lot of those are muscular injuries as well. I think Trossard has had an injury as well, hasn't he? I think he has. So they've got to look at some. And Kepa had an injury. How did your backup goalkeeper get injured? What's he doing? Anyway, listen, people. Right, it's over with. The draw now, 0-0. We move on from it. Manuel said, Curtis, did you notice Bradley drag himself into the pitch to delay play? In the heat of the moment, it was hard for Martinelli to spot the injury. I'd see the replay to realise. Listen, fair enough. I'll watch the replay back as well. But I'm just saying, from what I seen, I didn't like the behaviour. But we move on from it. Hopefully, Conor Bradley doesn't have a serious injury. People, we will be back on Sunday. I may actually do the Real Madrid-Barcelona game after the Arsenal game. I believe that's on Sunday. Arsenal play at 2 o'clock on Sunday. We'll be live at 1. Barcelona play Real Madrid at 7. So I might do a double watch along. I might need to watch another game just to get over the Arsenal game, to be honest. So, yeah, I think Sunday we may do a double watch along. 2 o'clock, I'll be live at 1. If anything happens tomorrow, we'll put out content. But at the moment, it may be a day off. Big up to everyone locked in. Appreciate your support. Enjoy your weekend. And I will see you all.